Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Friday, September 6th, 2024. This is a really big month. We are in eclipse season. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling that. We feel it a month before the eclipses, and the first eclipse is going to be on September 17th at 25 degrees and 41 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. That's a very emotional full moon eclipse. It brings things to light because Pisces can represent the hidden. This also defaults back to when Neptune was transiting at 25 degrees of Pisces, and that was approximately 2022 and 2023. So that's not that long ago. It's answering back to that story and a lot of reveals. Bear in mind, we began this month with a big bang because on September 1st, Uranus, the planet of shock and surprise, upheaval, brilliance, chaos, ingenuity, invention, surprise, there's another word I'll say again. Uranus retrograded at 27 degrees and 15 minutes of the fixed earth sign of Taurus. It doesn't love being in Taurus because Taurus likes to move slowly and get things done in a methodical way. And Uranus is all over the place, okay? And so we feel that energy 5 days before and 5 days afterwards, and we're still feeling that today, and then it starts to temper. We now also, Mars, the planet of action, how you move ahead, how you get things going. It represents your passion, your ambitions. Mars entered the cardinal water sign of Cancer. Does not like being in Cancer. Cancer is a very emotional and at times a moody sign. I love Cancer, but it's ruled by the moon, so it kind of, can be moody and very sensitive energy. Mars will be in the sign of Cancer on and off through April 18th of next year. That's a big deal. And it's in its fall position because it's exalted in the opposite sign of Capricorn, where it's very driven. Capricorn wants to succeed, move ahead, very goal-oriented, and sticking to business or whatever you're trying to achieve. Cancer is about emotions and getting your needs met. Mars will be in Cancer up until November 3rd, rather. And it's going to enter Leo at that time. It's also going to oppose Pluto, and those are both the rulers of Scorpio. So that's going to be an intense date on November 3rd. That's 2 days before Election Day in the United States. That's a bang. That's an energy just to be aware of, because that could be very violent or angry energy. I'm not trying to sound scary. In our own lives too, people could be really looking for a fight. And then Mars will retrograde on December 6th at 6 degrees of Leo. And it will re-enter Cancer on January 6th. It will station direct in the sign of Cancer on February 23rd at 17 degrees and 1 minute of Cancer. So that's where Mars is going to be on October 4th, which is less than a month away. It's going to get to 17 degrees of Cancer. It's its pre-shadow, and the shadow, that's where it'll station direct ultimately in the end of February of next year. So with that said, eclipse season has so much going on. It's kind of like Uranus, the planet that just retrograded. Uranus is unpredictable. Whatever you think it is, it could be something else. You can get big, shocking news or big changes, major beginnings or endings. It can be very positive, too. It can be, brilliant energy and could be, again, an out-of-the-blue windfall. But it can be startling. It can be very jarring. And eclipses are like wild cards. A lot happens in a very short period of time. Often big news is revealed. And I would say with the energy, we've got Uranus just stationed retrograde rather. We have Pluto return to the sign of Capricorn. That's a huge story. And that happened on September 1st, the day of the Uranus station. And Pluto will remain in the sign of Capricorn, the very last degree, which is known as an anaretic degree. Oh, gee, geez, now I'm losing power. Hopefully it stays for a little bit. Here we go. Pluto, it remains at the last degree. That's an anaretic degree. It's a crisis degree. It also is wrapping up the whole Pluto in Capricorn story that initially began in 2008 and in 2009 when we had the global financial crisis. And that was when Pluto got to the world axis at 0 degrees of the cardinal signs. Those are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. In that case, it was Pluto and Capricorn at 0 degrees. Now it's at the final degree, which is 29 degrees. And this deals with people in leadership and authority and governments and corporations. And a lot of times during eclipses, I find a lot of changes at people's, clients will tell me there were layoffs or a big boss left or new people came in, and there are often changes like that. Realistically, with Pluto and Capricorn, there will be big layoffs. There will be a lot with people in leadership and in our own lives. What are we letting go that is no longer serving us? Because this is really wrapping up a story, and we're preparing for Pluto returning to Aquarius on November 19th, where it will remain for 20 years. And that's about embracing the new, whether we like the chaos of technology, the alienation. I certainly don't. It's going to be something we're working with, and we have to upgrade in our lives. It's finding people with whom you resonate and finding like-minded individuals, ways to raise your consciousness. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. It is the higher mind. And, a lot can be achieved with that too. And Uranus rules Aquarius. So that it's the modern ruler. Saturn also rules Aquarius. But so much happening. We have the Mars story is going to be intense because it is going to, again, it's going to retrograde on December 6th at 6 degrees of Leo. And then it returns to Capricorn January 6th. And then it stations direct at 17 degrees of Cancer on February 23rd. Essentially, we are ending the year with Mars retrograde. More importantly to me, we're beginning a new year with Mars retrograde. So if there are big things you want to launch, try to do as much as you can. We're in Virgo season. And the thing about Pluto and Capricorn, I do, maybe because my Mars is at 29 Capricorn, I do feel more driven again. We're in Virgo season, which is really good for paying attention to the details, getting organized, decluttering. I started doing that finally. I've been having back issues this summer, but getting to that. And for all of us, kind of like when you went back to school, you got new notebooks and pens and pencils back in the day. And you felt like there was a tabula rasa. You could achieve a lot more this new semester, new year, new academic year. Try to view it that way with your goals. But it's intense. And Mercury squares Uranus late tonight at 9:21 Pacific Daylight Time and on September 7th at 12:21 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could be unexpected news, changes in plans. Be careful on the road because Mercury can deal with travel, driving or, transportation. But it also can be very inventive, ingenious energy. It could be great for brainstorming. But I do feel, the moon goes void tonight at, I believe it's, 1:08 or early in the morning at 1:08 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I have to remember. The times I'm not great on right now. But with a square to Pluto, it's in Libra right now, which is a relationship sign. And then it's going to enter Scorpio 10 minutes later, which I believe is either it's 10:18 p.m., whatever. Forget the time, look it up. But it's going to then enter Scorpio the rest of the weekend. But we have the sun opposing Saturn, and that's going to occur at 9:35 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Saturday the 7th, and at 1:35 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Sunday the 8th. That can be an aspect of endings or, feeling depressed, feeling put upon. And the moon will be in Scorpio, kind of an intense, not the easiest placement of the moon. So try to take good care. Remember, with Mars in Cancer, Mars is answering to the moon wherever the moon is in. So right now the moon's in Libra. That's nice, but it does go void with a square to Pluto. Only for 10 minutes because then it enters Scorpio, but it's in its fall position in Scorpio. It's not a comfortable placement of the moon. So people could be a little more moody. We've got Mercury squaring Uranus. Yes, that's inventive, but people could be saying things out of turn. And we have the sun opposite Saturn, definitely a turning point and could be endings. And we are preparing for the first of the eclipses, as I mentioned, that lunar eclipse on September 17th at 25 degrees and 41 minutes of Pisces. Very psychic energy, very intuitive. So on one hand, we're in Virgo season. Mercury returns to the sign of Virgo, where it's in its domicile and loves to be. It rules the sign of Virgo on September 8th, late in the day, or September 9th, and it will remain in Virgo through September 26th. So as we know, Mars is going to retrograde early December. What you want to get going, I mean, some of us are going to have to launch things at the beginning of the year. We can't avoid it. Not ideal because Mars does not retrograde annually. It retrogrades every 22 months, almost every, basically 2 years. And so big deal, and it's going to be retrograde for several months, but we still have to move ahead. Try to get things going now. Don't confront people right now with this eclipse energy. Definitely this weekend, there could be endings. If there's something that's troubling you, try to wait it out. By the middle of October, we'll kind of be out of eclipse season, basically, unless you got really slammed by the eclipses, which many of us are. And try to just, work hard, get organized, and try to trust your intuition with Mars in Cancer, because again, it's not the greatest placement for Mars to move ahead, but listen to your intuition, take extra self-care, and with Mercury re-entering Virgo, and now it's direct and it's in its dignity, and Venus will be in its dignity through September 22nd, through the equinox. We will have two personal planets in their dignity by the end of the weekend. That's positive. Let's work with that. I wish you all a lot of luck. I'm going to be on here a little more because I'm feeling amped up. The Neptune energy is, has been very, very intense. And I've talked to a lot of people, even a student of mine the other night. She's not experiencing a Neptune cycle directly, but she felt that sense of malaise with Neptune at Shiat, at the final degree of Pisces, and where you feel lost or you don't feel driven or you just kind of and that's not her at all. She's a very, action-oriented person. It's okay. Try not to judge yourself with this. That's a very hard placement. Very hard for mental health. Neptune's now at 28 Pisces, so it's gotten one. Well, it's still at Shiat, let's face it, but it's hard. But it's working in harmony with Pluto. I mean, they are sextiling one another, not exactly to the degree, but they are forming an aspect of opportunity. Try to evolve your dreams. Don't forget your dreams. Get things going this month as much as you can on things you're planning for the new year and the end of the year. And this weekend might be emotionally a little rocky. Do fun things for yourself. And more to come. More reports next week about this eclipse, more about Mars, more about you. All right. Thank you so much and take care.